Alright.
Round one. Capture the objective.
Nice. Alright, so your positioning so far, and your like setups have been fine so far. But you need to be a bit more active with your Harmony Orb, right? So we talked about this in VOD review, but your hero is like kind of like the commander for like this entire setup. Um, so like kind of sit in the middle of like your team setup, and you kind of identify what's the important part of the map, right? Kind of doing that. So we watch like do this over here, and then when the echo comes up over the roof, like you Discord her, right? That's good, right? But you're not doing anything with your Harmony, right? So the ways you influence fights, right? The sides of the map, I guess, that the angles that people are fighting for, is you provide Discord, make them take more damage, and you provide Harmony to like heal your team, and you can shoot people, right? So you're shooting people and you're applying Discord, but you haven't applied Harmony to anyone, right? And you haven't had Harmony applied for a while now, right? Ever since the Tracer lost it. So you just need to think about that more, and also just understand like what are Harmony people that team can shoot at, right? Or is already shooting at. So if you look here, right? Yes, you Harmony, you Discorded. Sorry, did I say Harmony? I meant to say Discord. But you like Discorded this Echo, right? And that would be good if your Echo is right here, right? And they were fighting each other. That'd be a great Discord, right? The problem is no one can actually shoot this guy except you, right? So there's no point in Discording this person, unless you're actively going to try and shoot her a lot. But even then, you want to shoot high percentage people, unless you are like so confident in your aim that you're relatively sure you can hit her, right? Because you want to apply poke, because pressure in this comp comes from like angles and damage, right? So if you can apply damage to people, that's pressure, right? If you look, they don't really have the best healing either. So if you apply damage to these people in front, trying to walk in right now, like a Discord plus headshot on this Zarya, would like cripple their push, right? They would just not be able to push because they have a Mercy who's in spawn that you killed, I think, and they have a Brig, which is just not enough healing, right? So like this does not take priority unless someone is actively fighting her, or she's like eyeing you, and like I mean she's throwing this, but this is not eyeing you. Eyeing you is like flying in, looking to like try and kill you, right? And you just want to apply damage to whoever you want to shoot, whoever's easiest, essentially, right? Especially in low healing metas. In high healing metas, it's a little bit harder, right? But you want to shoot whoever's easiest, and this is the easiest person, right? This person's not a threat to you, and no one else is trying to fight this guy, right? So don't even try. And also give orb to somebody, right? Probably the Echo because she's in front of you, right? But matter if you can give orb to tanks, that'd be even better probably. Like that require you to peek right now, so. But yeah, like again, this Discord is just not very valuable. Like you apply pressure and you like almost kill her, but like is that necessarily better than like if you just like shot other people? Probably hit more shots, right? It's hard to say, but probably not. That's not you. That's not you. And that Harmony needs to be played a lot earlier. Yeah, so again, like you're just not being active with the Harmony Orb very much. So you've applied the Harmony Orb 3 times this entire round, right? Once on the Zarya at the start, once on the Tracer, and now once again on the ball. Or sorry, 4 times. And now you're giving it to this Echo, right? The thing is, like, you need to be more active with this because, again, the Orb is what lets people fight for space, right? Brig Pack can substitute for Orb in certain cases, right? But Mercy Beam is not a substitute, right? And the problem is, this Mercy saw that, like, Echo pressed the button, I need healing, right? Now the Mercy's flying towards it, right? And that's probably a mistake on the Mercy's part because you applied the Orb first, I think. But, like, a lot of Mercies do this. And now she's probably going to die. I'll be real, right? So you need to apply this orb earlier so this Echo can fight, right? Again, don't prioritize orbing your tanks unless there's no one else to orb, right? And you don't expect to orb anyone else soon. And you need to apply earlier pressure to the enemy, like rotate as they walk in, instead of constantly looking for 5 orbs. 5 orbs are nice, but apply Discord to people trying to walk in. So if you just look at it, your Mercy's been full health for a while now, right? She flew over here, you healed her, right? Her self regen kicked in, she's been full health. Actually, I can even find out. Far back. Actually, I didn't. Okay, well, either way, she's been full health for a while. Sure, she's taking a bit of damage now, right? But like, you're just not moving the orb very much. You should be very active with the orb because the orb is like, again, like how you fight for off angles. Like now, you orb a tank because there's nothing else to orb, right? So you orb a tank.
In the shadow of the tower.
I've got you.
Now to strike.
Heroes never die.
Uh-oh.
This is not the end.
Yeah, so if you think about it, you've orbed your McCree right now, right? Oh, it's all in the McCree. And like, is the McCree likely to take damage, or even if he does take damage, is he likely to be pressured in here? Probably not, right? So this orb needs to go, like, as soon as you orb the McCree, that should be, like, orbing because there's no one else to orb, and as soon as you find anyone else to orb, they need the orb, right? Just need to be more active with it.
The outcome is not preordained. Grace, tranquility.
Fire at will.
Experience tranquility.
It's fine.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Wrecking ball.
Oh, my.
Repetition is the path
Cloning
to
module
mastery.
charging.
Assistance would be appreciated.
Let's get you back out there. My ultimate is fully charged. Огонь по готовности.
Yeah, so like again with your harmony orbs, like he was walking out and peeking the health, and you orbed the ball who was lower, right? And like just generally, right? You got to focus your DPS because again, DPS are generally what will the harmony orb benefits most, and B are most often fighting for off angles. Yeah, that McCree probably just inted, probably ints either way. But like you just got to prioritize like people who benefit from the orb, right? So like for example, that ball, you orbed him the entire time, and he still didn't get to full HP before he got grabbed and died. Oh hey Justin. Yeah, whole hog does not push people out of grab. It's actually a decent combo to it, because it's dealing damage to people. All right. But yeah. Or active. Your orb just usage just isn't active enough. Like it's something that like is hard to notice, but like everybody like in the game just kind of feels when you're orbing the right people. I guess that goes for most healers in general. Aw.
Heroes never die.
Alright, so instead of dueling this hog, right? Dueling the hog is fine, right? But right before you duel the hog, right, your tracer died, right? Right here, your tracer dies, right? You orbed her, right? Find something else to orb first, right? And flick back, right? And I know that can be difficult sometimes, but you just need to flick to this guy, orb him, right? Go back to whatever you're doing, right? Like you just gotta have an orb on somebody, right? Like Zen healing isn't a lot, but it's very fire and forget, so there's no reason not to have it, and it adds up really fast. And like it's not gonna, you're never gonna like pass somebody like just on raw healing that's like Ana or Moira if they're like competent, right? Without like trans healing. But like it does add up a lot, right? You can easily get like something like I don't know number. If you have the orb going all the time, I think it's. I mean, this is impossible in a real game because times and people damage, right? Or even that you need to prioritize someone who's isn't going to take the damage like the tracer instead of like a tracer instead of like one of your tanks. But at 30 healing per second, that's like I don't know 1800 healing, so 18,000 healing per 10. Is that correct math? I think so. But it's theoretically possible to get a lot of healing, and I just want to emphasize like you just need to get as much of it as you can because like again it's very fire and forget. It doesn't cost you anything, right? So you need to use it. Like if you want to be really extreme, you could have gone back, just like a step back, right? Instead of dueling the hog and pushing the hog as aggressively, you could just take a step back and, right? That'd probably be better even, right? Like just doesn't matter who you orb, just orb somebody first, right? Then we can talk about who you can orb. Kind of just don't orb a lot. Also, I know that she had bubble, but just in general, if you have the ability to trans, or sorry, the ability to discord before you trans, that's what you want to do. You're stuck in yield. Yeah, you gotta rotate faster. So your rotations. Oh, okay. Your rotations have generally been on point. But this happens. I've seen this in scripts as well. It's like once a fight breaks down, right, and you end up in the middle of nowhere, right, you just stay here, right. So like as soon as you get away from this McCree, what do you need to do, right? You need to get to a solid position. It's a solid position. Not really. It's like a pillar, right? What I want to start doing is start backing in this general direction, right? Get you to safety, right? And obviously, if you peek the side and the McCree's looking at you, duck back, right? You want to open the angle, right? And start getting this way, right? Save space. Or alternatively, like start ducking in back here, where you better control the angle, because right, like here, this is the only control of the angle you have is like this thing. And he can also play around this, right? He can go around it, right? But if you have two ways to control the angle, right? You can like squeeze the angle, you can make it really tight, really small, or you can like push out on this side, or like open up on this side, right? And then you can also start squeezing this way as well, right? So it makes it harder for him to manipulate your angle because you're playing two angles at the same time. So you want to play a better position, either like back here, where again you're safer, except for a potential tracer coming in. They have no tracer, or like back towards here if you can, right? But you want to get stuck here because if you get flanked, and it's very obviously going to happen when the Roadhog comes this way. Very nice when people prove my point. You're in trouble because you're in a crossfire and you have nowhere to go, right? Okay, this is not actually a safe position. You realize it immediately, but you need to rotate. You need to realize it before it's an issue, right? Hog doesn't. Also, the further away you are, the easier it is to figure out who actually needs help, right? So quick note as well. When Moira fades, I believe she loses orb immediately. I think that's what happened. Is to try to give her orb. Ah, shoot. Give orb here. Okay, you try to give orb to Moira. Yeah, now you're playing without an orb again. Got the Discord out, so Harmony orb out. Now again, right? Harmony orb person died, right? You don't immediately reapply an orb.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Tracer.
Minecraft? Since when did I play Minecraft, Ben?
Score 0-1. Ready, battle.
Or are you talking about Minesweeper? Yeah. Longer Minesweeper.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Jump pad side. So always scary because this can happen. Your team looks like it's winning the fight. A lot to talk about here. You're pushing this probably too aggressively though. But it's out. Alright, go take high ground, yes. Alright, so just freeze frame. Who would benefit the most from the orb right now? You gotta guess. Probably the Tracer, right? Doesn't matter who's actually damaged, the Tracer probably benefits the most from the orb, right? So, as soon as you finish healing the soldier, right, and you might even consider orbing the Zarya to heal her a bit, right? But generally speaking, this orb needs to be on the Tracer. So anyone. Right now you have a lot of downtime. We're just charging 5 orbs, and this you just need to give the Tracer the orb. Right? If she took like not even 10 damage right now, she would force her to consider like, it just creates awkward situations where if you had the orb in the whole time, right, she'd just be getting healed. You have the jump pad, that's fine. Looks like it was your teammate who was taking it, but that's fine. Not sure. Fine. Alright, so it's okay to lean this way if you want to get an angle over here, right? But you gotta remember that like this is their side, right? It's very, especially if your team's pushing on this side, which they were, it's very easy for them to like slide this way, and end up being able to shoot you, right? So if you slide this way to do this, you need to immediately follow that up with looking this way, because again, you know that there's no threat here because your team's pushing this way. Instead of like still looking over here, you need to look over here and back around this corner, right? And so or slide this way, get like to this side faster to group, right? And still again, LOS this corner. Want to be exposed here. Watch how you play this. This is fine. You're leading this way, right? Then your automatic reaction is to walk in this direction, right? And look at this, and like looking the corner is good, but your automatic reaction is to walk in that direction, and then you're still playing in the extreme open, right? Like if an Ashe pops out, you can just, right? So like, wanna like, either immediately book in this direction or play behind this corner, right? With expectations that someone will peek, and like you just really don't want to die here as well. I mean, you have res, so it's not the end of the world if you die here, but you'd rather not die, right? In case someone else dies. You want to like just start walking out here, get greedy with your angles, die for it, right? I can hear that mashing the harmony button. Right? Like, for example, if you died there, right, there'd be no res for this guy. Orb the Tracer! No! Don't orb this hog! Orb soldier, orb somebody useful! Yeah, so Zen is a hero that doesn't have a lot, that isn't very complicated, right? Like not like Ana, who's like big cooldowns to manage, right, and a lot of weird, funky like projectile speeds. So Zen as a character is a lot about doing a lot of small things right, right? So you do a lot of things right, right? But your harmony usage is just like not very good. It's not a huge issue, because harmony orb isn't like super important in this matchup that you're playing, because you guys are playing like a hog Zarya mirror. But it like if we start running meta v meta, like harmony orb usage is one of the most important things you can do along with Discord. So it's cool that like so right now you're not getting punished for it very much, but it'll matter a lot more in future. Alright, again, still no harmony on anyone. The harmony's okay. Lack of anyone better to put it. But like as soon as that Zarya like is no longer in front, right? As soon as that Zarya backs up a step, right, you want to give it to your soldier. Zarya doesn't need harmony.
I knew you could do it.
Get over here and heal up. I am under attack.
Right, when you start backing soon, then like again, like this whole time you're right clicking and charging right clicks, that'd be a lot better if you had a harmony already on this guy, right? I know you put it on the Tracer earlier. Yeah. But like I guess it's fine. Never mind. I take it back. It's fine. Oh no! Okay. Well, if you're gonna put the if you're gonna put the orb in the Tracer, you don't want to try and catch up healing on the soldier. He's already got a mercy pocket in it, right? So in that case, right, you would just want to keep the orb in the Tracer for as long as you can, right? And if it gets removed, if the orb leaves her, right, like she's been out of your LLS for too long, then you reapply the orb, right? But you don't try to catch up the healing. Just keep the orb on the Tracer. If you commit to putting the orb on the Tracer here instead of the soldier, it needs to be on the Tracer for as long as you can keep it on her, right? And likewise, when you're retreating, assumption is that your teams can be fighting in this area, so you want to be on high ground, right? So instead of retreating this way, you want to retreat this way, just generally. Now you're gonna be stuck on point.
Heroes never die.
Again, orb on Zarya. Yes. That was very scary. You were walking in. trans
Not
is
enough
fine.
time.
Awkward. Oh, this is scary. Yeah, you owned her. Yeah. Died pretty much solely because of where you ended your trans. You ended it here and kept going forward, opposed to like trying to find a safe space that you could rotate to, right, and buy time. Again, you don't need to like kill people. You stay alive. Staying alive Zen is like usually better than almost. There's situations where it's easier to get help if you play with your team, right? But like the problem is you played with the team and you sat in the open doing it, right? As opposed to like playing in like the corner, right? That you can play around, right? Like, I don't know. There's not really a great example here, but end up playing in the open, right? The tracer shoots you, you destroy the tracer, right? But the Kree still shoots you, you die, right? Drowned. Oh no, Buster. So just generally, you're not spending enough time taking advantage of the fact that BAP can do both healing and damage at the same time, right? It's kind of auto mentality where you kind of do one at a time. But just gotta figure out which shot is easier or which shot is more important, right? And prioritize that. But you can still do both at the same time, right? So if, like, for example, you heal your Rhine here, which you did, right? You need to heal your Rhine, right? This moment, yeah, this is the moment, right? It is very easy to just throw a shot in this direction, right? So, like, heal your Rhine, flick to your left, shoot a random shot, then heal your Rhine again. Make sure you hit the heal, right? But you can shoot just random 3 bullets here, and you'll deal damage, which is pressure, and it'll build you ult, which is good, right? And it doesn't cost you anything, right? Like again, if you can if you're at an angle where you can shoot and heal at the same time, you should always be doing both, right? Just because there's no downside, right? In this case, it's particularly easy to because they're pretty much in a line, right? It's not like you're ascending here. In order to shoot and heal, like with any kind of accuracy in your shoot, you have to like flick like kind of far, relatively, right? Here, they're so lined up that you should be doing both pretty much at all times, right? That's fine. Again, you're not taking the opportunity to spam down the stroke, right? You kind of want to treat your gun as more of a spam gun than a true hit scan aiming gun. There's situations where you can like aim it, right, and kill people with it. But if you need to choose between healing and shooting, you're pretty much always going to heal, right? But you shouldn't have to choose because you can just shoot anyways, right? And that's not to say that you'll be very efficient with your shooting, but like your hit scan gun is almost never the limiting factor of your ammo, right? So you just want to use it, right? Just in case you actually do hit someone, and like any damage you get is good at that point, because it's just bonus, right? You should be shooting at the Doom, right? He's up in the air. He's relatively easy to hit. And like, again, you don't need to actually worry that hard about aiming your left clicks. You just need to aim your right clicks, right? And then just like throw your left click around and see if you accidentally hit some people. You should be using your left click.
How about a little extra? Honestly, it sounds cool. You're fully healed.
Yeah, so right here, right, it's the exact opposite. You're trying to aim at the ball, right? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't, like, you can't just, like, throw a grenade at the feet while you're trying to shoot this ball. Because the assumption is people have taken a little bit of damage, right? And there's also people shooting from here. Like, you should know that somebody is, like, missing some health, right? It's a very reasonable assumption even if someone's missing some health, right? So you should just throw a grenade at the ground in between shooting, like, at this ball, right? So again, no downside.
That's better. Let him on.
Wait, help your Mercy?
All better.
Alright.
Now.
Your Mercy needed a lot more help than you got from her. You. Since this guy rolls through you on your left, you see your Mercy getting shot at, right? So you don't necessarily have to heal her. Necessarily need to shoot at the ball, right? But you do need to maintain an LOS, right? So if you want to do like help this Rhine, which you can, right? How should you do that? The simplest way is just like slide to the left, right? Gain LOS of him. He Tana Ellis with your Mercy. Your Mercy can fly to you for help now, and you can heal her if she doesn't decide to fly at you, or she does fly at you and just a lot of health, right? Just kind of leave her out to dry. Okay, she survives, but if she died, that was 100%. Okay. So first, shift is like a relatively big cooldown. It's fairly comparable to amp, except a lot less impactful now that they've nerfed it. But like it's still a big cooldown in terms of like just time, right? So be careful using it if you don't actually need it, right? Especially for yourself, right? Because that's primarily actually your self heal button, right? So this guy is like full health, or not full health, but he's missing a lot of health, but not actually being shot at anymore, right? You gotta resist the urge to press the button, just because like, you don't have to, right? It's like nading a guy who's full health who's not actually gonna take any damage, right? You do it if you just know you're not gonna need the nade anytime soon. Just use it. And in this case, he was also just happened to be out of range, which made it even worse. You gotta know the range on this too. It's very short, like even shorter than Lucio Aura. So first he's out of range, and second you probably shouldn't have used it. Kind of unfortunate. Yeah, you just didn't know where to be, right? And it's fine to like realize that like maybe we can get shot from here. Like so, first of all, you probably shouldn't have dropped. It's good to realize that to go back up, and we start getting shot. You start rotating, right? Play over here, like dodge sightlines, right? Play in the open. But you can't just like decide to play in the open, like decide like, oh, I'm getting shot on the high ground. I'm just gonna play behind my Rhine, because like playing behind your Rhine is almost never the answer, unless you're playing a rush comp. But you have lamp there, I think. I guess you just weren't ready to use lamp. That's fine. Like you shouldn't really have to use lamp here, but I've been here. Yeah, so even if you lived there, that would have forced your lamp. And you probably just die soon after that anyways, because again, you also had no shift, right? Really important to save shift if you don't need it. Carry, Fog. Ah! No! No! Alright, this guy is getting shift. This guy is also getting shift, even though he doesn't need it. This guy, actually, let me make sure that, figure out what's inspired and what's... This guy got the shift, okay? Look, this is the edge of the shift. This is how far it goes, right? This is how many people, these are the people who need the shift, right? No one got it, right? Just gotta be a bit more disciplined with it, right? Make sure you can actually hit them. The range is a lot smaller than you think it is, right? Just step up like 2 more feet, right? Trust that they'll live a little bit longer, right? Try and hit them with right clicks, and then shift, and immediately it's a lot better, right? I mean, obviously, because like it's better than nothing, but like you gotta know the range of your shift. I don't know how much you play back, but that's when you gotta know. This lamp's terrible. All right, so your team is healing up. Everybody's more or less fine, right? This lamp doesn't do anything, right? It doesn't let your team play more aggressively, right? Like, you want to put lamp when you're coordinating with a team that's getting so aggressive, they just need confidence to keep going more aggressive, right? So, like, for example, if, like, your team starts, if you want the team to push really aggressively, and if they have a lot of damage, you can just be like, I'm going to lamp corner, go, 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 right? So then your team just shoves into this hall, right? Just put a lamp here, and then they start, like, bulldozing the enemy team. You can do that, right? But the problem is this isn't anywhere close to the enemy, right? And your team doesn't need confidence. Your team just needs to stay alive, right? So you heal them and then save lamp for when like there's an actual problem, right? Just heal people, it'll be fine, right? But like this is a habit you've had for a while, where you just kind of lamp when people are vaguely low, right? And like or lamp as soon as you that a lot as well in the past. Not so much this game. You gotta figure out situations where you actually need to lamp versus like lamping late, right? But the problem is like right now you lean way too much towards the side of lamping much. You gotta be more conservative with it. Yeah, like it's not gonna die, right? Rig's gonna die, but you're not lamping her, you're lamping your Ryan, right? better at using exo boots. Baps have coach. Like your shift usage is not very good. Lamp usage. There. Again, this doesn't hit him. It's out of his range. Out of range.
Let them out.
Again, like you force this window really hard, and you play in the open to get this window instead of just like stacking, like playing cover, right? And then you walk forward to use your window. You almost died, so you threw the lamp to cover for the window. And now you've blown all your cooldowns. You're probably not going to get a kill, and you've like have no lamp, right? And you're super low on top of that with no shift, right? Like there's a lot of bad stuff here. If you die now, this is entirely because like the order you used to make your build. Alright. Break packs you. Yeah, no lamp for this. That was really rough. One, you don't have to force the window value. Two, right? You can like, or rather, one, you don't have to force the window value. You can like just put it closer, right? You can just use it for yourself. You don't have to use it for your team, especially at Ryan Zarya. Like Ryan Zarya is like this is window very mediocrely, and if you just like play back here, right? Like a good window will present itself, right? You don't need to like force a window value. Second is like when you play a window, right? The first reaction to anybody facing a window is to shoot at the window because they have nothing else to do, and they're afraid of like someone standing behind the window killing them, a window killing them, right? So you can't just like walk out here, put up a window, and just start walking at the window like you're not gonna get a shot, right? You gotta play cover, right? Even if you put the window up, like again, you just shoot from the cover, and there's no downside, right? Relative to like the angles you're getting, right? It's the same angle you're getting, which is again why it was so forced. It's pretty bad, anyways. And then finally, right, like because you're playing so aggressive, and I think you just tend to do this in general. Like if you feel at all exposed when you win, throw a lamp down, right? Like I get why you had a lamp there because you were about to die, but like you want to avoid using all of these cooldowns together. And then also again, shift usage. You gotta be more disciplined, right? First of all, your Ryan wasn't even missing that much health. Second of all, he was out of range, right? So like, it's the double whammy, just exactly like what happened here, right? Really unfortunate.
Someone's looking out for me.
Again, that's out of range. That lamp is not necessary. It might be necessary now, right? But like that was too early. Right, about a half a second. Give him one more shot. Oh, good. That shifts for yourself, so it's fine. Alright. Oh god, it's all white. Okay. So to conclude, your Zen is generally pretty good. You have problems with like harmony orb usage, and you still have a tendency to just like once you get into a weird position, you just kind of stay there instead of like repositioning as soon as you can, right? Yeah. So harmony orb usage. In some cases, your Discord isn't active enough, and you're not picking the best Discord targets. We talked about with the Echo example, right? It needs to be someone that your team can shoot, not just you. In certain cases, Discording someone that you can shoot is fine if you're fairly sure you can hit that shot. But that was like a fairly long range shot, and it's probably not the best to move onto her instead of just keeping it on a tank up front and then just shooting at the Echo, right? That said, it's not that bad, but yeah. Your harmony orb usage though is just generally not very active enough. And you gotta put more thought into it, because a lot of times you're just orbing whoever is like missing health in front of you. Not really think about who actually needs the orb. Will need the orb, right? But yeah, that's your big problems on Zen mostly. Big problems on BAP are much bigger, I think. Your BAP is definitely a lot weaker than your Zen. Shift usage, like you just don't know the range. A bit more familiarity with it. You also need a bit more discipline with it. You're like trying to shift people who either don't need it, or yeah, who just don't need it a lot. And so as a result, when you actually need it, right, you don't have shift, and it's happened like multiple times. And also on top of that, you do this when you're out of range on them too, and like it would be a double whammy because you didn't even get value on the person you're trying to heal, right? Your lamp usage is a little questionable. Gotta save it for people. Like, it's better to air. Like it's like continuously like a push and a pull, right? So like I feel like you're always afraid of missing the lamp. Someone who's going to die and the lamp, right? But if you never try to like see how long you can wait, right? You'll never like get like you never see situations where you don't have to lamp, right? But it feels like you lamp all the time. As a result, like for example, when your team was pushing on point, right? You lamp the Ryan, and it's like he doesn't need the lamp, right? And like until you have more discipline with that, you're never gonna know for sure, right? Um, but I can tell you that he just doesn't need the lamp, right? And you probably in retrospect look at it and be like, oh, he doesn't need the lamp. Need to have more discipline on the. And there's certain situations where you hard to say, and you definitely want to err on those situations. You want to err on the side of like want to give them the lamp so they don't die, right? But like every once in a while, you like kind of need to let someone die to see like, but I actually need the lamp that, or like try and save them without lamp and see if you can, right? And obviously, I'm not saying you should do that necessarily in scrims, right? But ranked especially, just like err on the side of like push your limits, right? Yeah. I think that's everything important for that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. And if you get this far, took way longer, 36 minutes, holy. Um, let me know. DM me what 9 times 3